Hey y'all, welcome to Fabricable Garage. In today's video, we're going to be working on this lawnmower here. Uh, this is going to end up being the next project after the Model A gets done. I had gotten this lawnmower for free from a coworker. He had parked it because the the mowing deck, or at least the belt, had popped off, and then on the PTO engagement, it got all messed up. You can see the wires and dangling stuff, and it's just not connected to anything anymore. And he had parked it and planned to do something with it, and eventually just said he didn't want it anymore. The reason why I asked him for it is because whenever I very first saw it a couple years ago, I saw it has an actual 6-speed transmission, not the hydrostatic rear end or the CVT rear end, or not rear end, but the CVT that most lawnmowers have with that 6-speed transmission, which they also make 5 speeds. But anyway, with the manuals, they're a lot easier to kind of mess around with and make stuff out of, just because you can make them go faster. Unlike the hydrostatics, you kind of can't. And with the ones with the variable, the CVT, you kind of can, which that's actually how the other lawnmower was. But as you can see, we went a completely different route with the drive chain and everything because of that. But anyway, first things first, we're going to be taking off the lawnmower deck. And just to show you, because it's been sitting for several years, these spindles are completely locked up. It did come across my mind to fix it up and just sell it, but like I said, with the way that transmission is, it's kind of hard not to, and plus it was my original intentions anyway. Whenever I checked the gas, he did leave it on empty, so there's a good chance that we could just fill it up with gas, put a fresh battery on it, and start it up. But in today's video, I'm just going to show you taking off the lawnmower deck and then getting it to fire up and drive around. And then once we get it to that point, then after we finish up the Model A, we'll get to this one, and I may talk a little bit about my ideas in this video, or just let you see what happens later on. About the only thing really besides it not running at the moment is the steering is pretty stiff, which that could just be the knuckles need to be greased, which a good thing about this lawnmower is they are greasable. This also has the same, pretty much the same axle and the same gearbox as the one that's going in the Model A, which, like I said, I really liked that design better. But yeah, so basically what you want to do if you ever want to take a lawnmower deck off, it's actually pretty easy. It's a lot easier than you think. The best thing to do is first put it all the way down, and then you'll just look across. I already took that one off, but you'll just look across and you'll see each of these pins or these rods that connect the lawnmower deck to the lawnmower. They're supposed to have cotter pins, but this one has just a piece of wire. You can see there is one of the cotter pins. You just pop all those out and then disconnect the belt. But like I said, the belt's already disconnected, so we don't have to worry about that. And then once you get all that disconnected, it's free and you can just drag it from underneath it. But yeah, so I'll do that, and we'll load it up in the back of the truck and then bring it over to the shop, and I'll show you the beginning steps of trying to get something to run that's been sitting. This one's been sitting for, I believe, about 3 years now, which has been quite a while, but it's not too long. So alrighty, so as you can see, we got the lawnmower deck out from underneath it. So now all next is to load it up in the back of the truck and then start working on it. Alrighty, so we got to pull it in the shop. I already put a little bit of gas in there, as you can see on the little gas gauge. Maybe a little bit. There's a little bit of gas in there. I got the jump box on it. I'm not going to get a new battery for it or anything right now, just because, like I said, this project's going to be kind of It's gonna be after the Model A. But yeah, we're just gonna see. I have cranked it over before, but with no gas in it, so I do know it isn't locked up, which I kind of figured. But we're just gonna see what happens. Make sure there's no wires in the way of the motor, and let's see. Oh, okay. Key's not turning now. Oh, there's something clicking. Something's definitely clicking. Okay, but it's not turning over. Okay. Alrighty, so as you can see, we went ahead and took off the hood on this lawnmower. It's actually just a quick disconnect. We ended up getting it to crank over, but once it reached, it would reach the compression cycle. It would just stop, which means it's having too much compression. And I checked the valves. I didn't check them with a feeler gauge, but I could kind of just looked at them. They seem fine. So the only other thing is these lawnmowers have a decompression mechanism that when it's cranking at lower RPMs, it'll release some of the compression to make it to where it can easily start, because otherwise when you're trying to crank it over, all it does is it just stops, and that's what it's doing. So we're gonna have to pull the motor out and take it apart and see about what exactly is broken, and then replacing that and then putting it back together. The reason why I want to try to stick with this motor and rear end is because we are going to use both of them, but we're also going to be using other parts in this project. And I want this one to be four-wheel drive, but unlike the other lawnmower, which is now Bad Temper, it's not going to look like a lawnmower. It's going to be a lot different. We're going to make it a lot different, and hopefully this one, hopefully we can figure out a way to make this one four-wheel drive and make it pretty cool. But yeah, so basically I already did pretty much all the steps except for pulling out the motor, which I'm about to do. The first thing you want to do, or at least for this Craftsman, it's got a 18.5 horse Briggs. Just unplug the it'll focus. Unplug this main little wiring harness plug. That's pretty much the only plug to the motor, and then the starter wire, disconnect that, and then you'll undo the fuel line and the throttle cable. And once you get that, you'll have to take off the pulley, which this is underneath the lawnmower. It's just a 5/8 bolt. Use the impact on it. You can use a wrench or a ratchet if you need to, and just what you'll do is put it on there and just whack it with a hammer. It pretty much does the same thing. And then once you get that, see underneath there, you'll just have to take out 4 bolts. You can see the clear spots where the bolts used to be. And then from there, you pretty much just pick it up. You also have to disconnect, obviously, the exhaust. I unbolted it, but I also just cut it, which you do not have to do that at all. You can take it out intact, but I was going to end up not, this one's probably going to be straight piped, or it's definitely going to have a completely different exhaust than this, and I figured it'd be kind of cool for the meantime, once we get a do running, before we finalize the exhaust, have a straight pipe, which obviously long term is not good for the valves. But yeah, we'll set the motor off to the side, and then in another video I'm gonna show you taking it apart and everything, and seeing what's broken, what's not. Basically what it is it's cam, it's off the cam. It's a little It's the little thing that depresses the exhaust valve just a little bit while the intake valve is open, so that it doesn't create more pressure. But yeah, so I'll see you in the next video. If you liked, drop a like, give me a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.